Today I'm going to make a round system for my Purge Battle game, and if you've been following along, it's for this playlist, Create a Game in Roblox. Brah! So you do need a lobby, you don't really need the battle bus, right? So if you have a lobby and a place, this will work. And this is going to be the third one. I'll put the link in the description of these videos if you want to follow along from the beginning and you haven't been. Let's go to our Purge Battle. We're going to add to list. That's going to initiate the battle, and also when people click it, they're going to get in the list and be able to teleport to the game. Now we're teleporting. Wait for it. There we go. We're in our airplane. Prepare for battle in 13 seconds. So we're getting to our little area. When this goes down to 1, we can jump. We can jump to 4, but it's going to give us an idea of when to jump. There we go. So I just made the round 30 seconds for the video because we don't want to wait that long. Here's the center of the world. We don't have any weapons yet, but now if we die, we're going to go and respawn within the game. So I turned off the spawns on the airplane, and now we have spawn locations in our game. At the end of this, we're going to be teleported back to our lobby. Here we go. End match. Boom. Then you do the little awards and stuff like that. Kills, deaths. Who won what? There we go, the list. Sweet, and then we were back. And we could start another one if we wanted to. All right, let's go ahead and get started with that. So this is the game that I've been doing on the videos, the Purge Battle 1. And this is my lobby. I'm going to go to View, if you're not there, Asset Manager, and then we're going to take a look at the places, right? And this is the map, the Purge map. Let's go ahead and open that up. We're only going to be working on the map today. There we go. I double click that. I'm just going to pause the video because it takes a minute to open up. There we go. The game is open. And this is my simple plane. I did this in the last video, but I didn't build it out. I did save off the example plane. So if we want to delete this, I'll just hit the delete key. I put a link to the simple cargo plane in the description. Go ahead and hit. This will say like get model. Click that. And now we can go to our toolbox, simple cargo plane. It does have a script, so you have to say okay. We did it in the last video. It's just slightly different. This is my root part. You can see that block. In the video, I made the plane base the root block, the root part. So if you want to change your positioning, you have to look for plane base here, and it's this block, right? This invisible one. When I built it the second time in the video, I just went with a plane base. So we have our align orientation attachment here that we could turn, and then our linear velocity is here instead of on the base. But let's go ahead and try it out, see what we got. Remember, we do need to call this plane because the sound script down here, if you're following along, we have a sound script down here that uses the plane name. Ooh, that's tiny. Let's make that big. There we go. So we have the plane right here. So you have to match this name, if you have the sound script, with the plane in the workspace. Right? There it is, plane in the workspace. All right, let's try it. We'll hit the play button. See if we're positioned funny. All right, we are in our plane, and it's positioned the right way. So remember, if you want to change the way the plane is pointing, it's the align orientation attachment on the plane base. So the one thing we want to work on immediately is if we die, we're going to go back to the plane, right? And that's not going to work because the plane's going to disappear. So we're going to have to change where we respawn. And also we're going to have to put a UI up here, and we're going to have to be able to teleport back to our lobby. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to turn this off and get started. All right, so maybe I'll do my label first so I can tell players what to do, when to jump out the plane, what's going on, what round we're in, or what part of the round we're in. Let's go down to Screen GUI, Starter GUI, I mean. Starter GUI, hit the plus, Screen GUI, hit the plus again. We'll do text label. Let's call this text label msgLbl for message label. All right, I'm going to change the anchor point to that little dot right there, right in the middle of my label. So go to anchor point. That's the anchor point where it attaches to the screen GUI. We'll do 0.5, or I should say it attaches to the parent element. 0.5 and 0. So that's 50% on the X, 0 on the Y. Moves it over to the left, but now we can position it better. Here's my position. Let's do 50% on the X, comma, 0 pixel offset on the X. How about 0 on the Y, 0 pixel offset on the Y? Boom, right in the middle. Now, if you start the game, you're going to have a gap up here, right? I don't want that. I'm going to go to my starter GUI, and then I'm going to hit ignore GUI or ignore GUI inset, and that's going to put my label right up at the top. We're not going to have the GUI insets. Let's change some stuff on our label now. Press message label. I'll go to the top, scroll down a little bit. Background transparency, I'm going to make that 1. I don't need the background. I just want to have text up here. And then this looks good. Size, we could change size. How about 0.4 on the X, 0 pixel offset. So I have 0.4 comma 0, and then maybe 0.1 on the Y for scale, 0 pixel offset. That makes it a little bigger. We can get more text up there. And let's keep going. Change your font if you want. Font base. Go to bangers. And then text we don't really care about because we're going to change that with code. All right, and so you can keep a label. How about text color 3? Maybe you want to have a different color. I just wouldn't make it blue because it's going to be against the blue sky. How about yellow? Cool. It's tiny. Let's make it a little bigger. Text scaled. Cool. And then put a little outline around the letters. Text stroke transparency. Make that 1. And that's default to black. I like that. All right, that's looking good. Let's go to our message label. Hit the plus. Hit a local script. And the local script, we could say something like, how about message label or message loc? How about that? You can actually name this whatever you want because we're going to check for the remote event firing. I might make this a little bigger here. There, that's good. All right, we need a remote event because we're going to fire this message from the server. Let's go to replicated storage, hit the plus. Remote event, what should we call that? How about infoRe? InfoRe. So we'll send information from the server to the client through the InfoRe. We need to capture that. First, we're going to need a variable for replicated storage. So that'll be game GetService replicated storage. And now we can get our InfoRe from replicated storage. WaitForChild, InfoRe. We'll also need a variable for the label itself. How about local msgLbl for message label, so we can update our text. Script.Parent, because the script is right on the label down here, right? Message label, message loc, that's what we're in, and that's our label. All right, what else? How about, let's go ahead and change the message label text right away. Now, you're not going to see this, but you should probably have it say something other than label. We'll just do like prepare. How do you spell prepare? Prepare for jump. All right. And that way we don't have to worry about it being something weird when the game starts. All right, we're going to capture our infoRe on client event. We'll say connect. We'll do an anonymous function. That's a function with no name. I said function. We're going to get the message in from the server. That's the parameter when we fire the local, the remote event. And then we'll just get our message label.text and set it to the message that comes in. Cool. Now when we fire something from the server, it's going to update our message, but we don't have anything firing from the server yet. But this will update when the battle changes state, like when should you jump from the plane? When will the battle start? Oh, we're going to need an alarm too. Let's go to our purge map. Boom. And then home toolbox. Oh, I hate when it does that. Let's move it right there. And then I'll go to the creator store. We'll go to, how about audio? And we need some sort of alarm, right? So, ooh, look, SCP alarm. And you want to check some of these. Find one you like. That's not bad. I'm going to pause the video while I find one I like. There we go. I found a sound. It's pretty good. Yeah, that'll work. I think I'm going to put this on server side. I'm not going to play it client. It's just a decision I'm making, and it's a little easier. So I'm going to go up to the workspace. If you'll notice, here's our environment. You're going to want to build that out, right? So the simple house, I'm going to right click, perhaps group as folder, put our buildings in there, like buildings, pipes, things you want to hide around, tires. And we'll just call this Environment, or call it whatever you want, but you'll have to remember the spelling. And then I'm going to insert that right above or right below the folder. So it's going to play everywhere. We're not going to get sound roll off, but that's okay. It's an alarm for when things happen. So let's just call it alarm. Nice. Now let's create our battle manager. I'm going to close our toolbox. We'll go down to server script service. Where is it? There it is. Hit the plus. This is going to be a server script. There we go. And I'm going to call this battle manager. Battle manager. I'm going to make this big again. Cool. We can get, that's pretty big. Let's get rid of our print statement. I want to get the player service. So local players equals game GetService players. And then let's get, do we need a flag for battle started? We might need one, but I want the start time, the intermission time from when people join the game to when the game actually starts, when the battle actually starts. So I'm going to call this start time. And I timed out how long it takes the plane to get to the center. You're going to have to play around with this, but it took about 18 seconds for me. So it depends on how fast you make your plane, how far you go, things like that. Just check to see about when people want to jump. All right, and then I'll do local battle time. Now this is going to be like 5 minutes, and it's in seconds. So this is 30 seconds. Do like 300 for 5 minutes, right, or whatever. Play around with how long you want your battle time. And then we also want the reward time, the post-battle. So I'll call this reward time, right? We'll put the scores up, and if anybody got anything good. What else? Ooh, replicated storage. Maybe not put a space there. RS for replicated storage. Game, not WaitForChild. How about GetService, replicated storage. And then we'll get our infoRe, right? That's going to go to our message label. We'll say replicated storage. Now this is a WaitForChild. There it is, infoRe. And then let's get our alarm, right? We'll say local alarm. And we have our workspace environment, right? And in there we have an alarm. Sweet. Now we're going to have like a game loop, right? Let's make a function for that. So I'll say local function. I'm going to call it game loop so people don't have to guess. And we'll pass in our start time, our battle time, and our reward time. Look at that, just made it. And then let's do a for loop. How about for I equals start time? We'll go from the start time, which is 18 right now, down to 1 and steps to -1. So we're gonna count backwards. And I'll make a little message for people in the game. This is gonna go to our message label. We'll say prepare for battle in. I'll do a little colon. String concatenator, you're going to need a space right here, right? And then a string concatenator, that's the seconds, ... And then maybe I'll go to the next line right there. And then I'll just say space seconds, right? We want everybody to get the message. Let's just scroll the code a little bit. So here I'm going to do an infoRe colon FireAllClients, right? Because the game is starting. We're in the plane, presumably in the plane. You might not have a plane. That's why I'm not having the plane talk to the battle manager. You might not have it. You don't want your code too tightly coupled. And then we'll just do a second pause in between. So we're going to get an updated count. When we get to the end of this for loop, right in between those two ends right here, let's play our alarm. Let's say alarm. Play, and let's not forget to call the game loop. So we got to call that game loop. Here we go. And we need to pass in start time, battle time, and reward time. Sweet. Hit the play. Let's check it out. We're going to be in the plane. We should have a message. Should be a countdown. At the end of the countdown, the alarm. See how close we get to our house. We might have to change our start time. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep, I can hear it. Not very loud though. Not very loud, but that's okay. We're in the plane. Let's crank up the sound a little bit. And if that doesn't work, we can put it on the client. So we'll go here. Do we want to turn the sound down on the plane? You might want to think about that. But I think I'm just going to go to this alarm. And then instead of 0.5, let's make it 1. There we go. I'm going to scroll back from my player during the demo here so you can hear it better. Oh, this is playing client, so it's going to be the same sound, same volume of sound no matter where you're at. Let's go down a little bit. Yeah, that's good. I can hear it. We're kind of far away. That's not too bad. And we can start our battle too. I was kind of messing around. You could decrease your start time if you want, or increase it if you want to get closer to the center of your world. Let's go back to our script. Let's turn this off. And Battle Manager, which is in Server Script Service. If you lost it, there it is, Battle Manager. I think I will change that start time. I'll reduce the time a little bit. How about 16 seconds? There we go. Give them a chance to jump. They don't have to jump right away, right when they hear it. It gives them a second or two. And let's get another loop going. I think what I'm going to do, let's copy this. It's dangerous, right? Control C, right under the alarm play, Control V. So we have our start time, and then we have our battle time. Right? This is when they're fighting. We'll change our message. How about time remaining? Time remaining. And then we'll get the seconds. That's good. FireAllClients. That's good. All right. And then after this ends, because this will take a long time to test, so let's just go ahead and finish this loop off. Let's do a local message. And I'll put how about end match, ... That'll work. And then let's fire that. We got to fire that, right? So grab this thing, Control C, boom. That's going to update our label. And then we'll have our reward time, right? So this won't show at all if I update. Yeah, I'm not gonna update the message for the end match. I'm just gonna keep that there. But let's go ahead and do a Control C on the battle loop. This is gonna be our rewards loop. What do we call it? Reward time. And then I'm gonna get rid of the message and everything. Maybe I'll just put a print statement in there so I know something's going on, right? We're gonna pop up our stats. We'll say showing the scores and stuff, right? That's for us to see. And we're going to do this, how many seconds? 10 seconds? That sounds good. Let's try it out now. All right, game starting up. We should be in the plane. Cool. Plane flying. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, jump. All right, so I can increase that time again. I had it at 18. I moved it to 16. So this is the battle. So we're in the battle now. Other things will happen. We'll get armed. We'll have our packs or whatever, our armor. And when we get to the end of this, nothing's really going to happen. We're going to do our teleport, but we don't do that yet. So we'll get to 16, 2, 1. Boom. Showing scores and stuff. So that'll fire 10 times. And then this is when we'll teleport. We'll teleport right here. All right, we're all done. Okay, but we can't test teleport inside Roblox Studio. We'll have to use the player for that. So I also want to turn off our spawn locations, right? We gotta make sure that once we jump out of the plane at some point and we're sufficiently close to the battle, if we die, we spawn on a spawn location that's within our battle zone. Let's go ahead and turn this off. And I'm going to close this output window so we have a little more space. So to change the spawn locations, let's do our environment first. So we'll go to model, and then you're going to place these where you want them strategically. You're going to need a few of them, right? There's one spawn location. I'm going to drag this into the environment just to keep it organized. I am going to uncheck enabled on the spawn location. So spawn location, go down, find where it's enabled, uncheck it, right? And then maybe make a couple. Do a Control D. My collisions are off, so it'll duplicate in place. We'll just move this over here. This one's also disabled because we just duplicated the other one. And then maybe put a third out there, right? Just spread them around a little bit. Cool. We'll turn these on after we turn the one on the plane off, right? So let's go to our plane. And then we have spawn in the plane, right? We're going to have to turn these off at some point. Let's take a look at our fly script. Open that up. And we want to give people a few seconds to get in the game because we're transporting a bunch of people at once. Maybe I'll just say, this is a server script, so you want to give them, how about 8 seconds to get in the game? Let's do that. Let's say if I equals, and we should be using variables for this. I have literals, the actual number. It's fine though. Just go ahead and clean that code up. So if I equals 8, and it will, because we're going from 0 to 25, let's go ahead and go through our spawns. I'm going to need to get the spawns. Where should we do that? Maybe, how about here, right above the pivot? You could do it anywhere at the top. But where do we have our variables? So the spawns are in the plane. We'll do plane.spawns right here. I got a folder for it. Spawn, oh, I didn't use an S. Spawn, :GetChildren. That's going to get all the spawns in the spawn folder. Come down here. For, how about, we can't use I. We already got an I. Let's maybe make a J and V in pairs. All right, we got our spawns folder, the children in the spawns folder. This is going to be a number, and we're not actually going to use the number. So a lot of times what people do, they do a for loop like that. They'll do an underscore. So, hey, we're not using the number. We're only using the object, and that's the spawn. So we'll say, how about v.Enabled equals false. So that's going to turn off our spawn locations in the plane. Hopefully we're all in there, right? We're all in there. You could do, if you want to be sure that we don't skip this, if there's round off error, you could do that, what do you call it, a greater than or less than sign, but this should be sufficient. Let's go to our map. So go to purge map. Now that the plane spawns are off, we have to enable these. And remember, you have about a 3-second leeway for respawning. So it doesn't have to be timed exactly. Let's go to environment, and oh look, we have these spawn locations just in the environment. Let's put them in a folder. So spawn location, control click, these 3 spawns, right click, group as folder, nice. And let's call them spawns. I know in the plane I wrote spawn with no S, but we'll go ahead and fix that. Spawns. Because there's a bunch of them. Go to our battle manager. In the battle manager, we need to get access to those. So we'll call them spawns. I'll do the lowercase. That's my convention. And then it's just workspace environment. We have our spawns. And then I'll do a GetChildren. That'll get all the spawn locations. Now in our game loop right here, right, this is counting backwards. Oh, that's tricky, right? You have to be smart. You have to be able to subtract. Oh, well, this is 8. This is 16, but I think I'm going to make that. How about let's make it 17? It's a little short, right? And so I don't have to do any subtraction because I might want to change this. Let's do another variable. We'll just call this count. You can call it like spawn time count or something. I'll make that 0. Right? And then as we go through the loop, let's do our little for loop if count equals 8. Now I know there's some coordination here. We should probably do a bindable event to communicate between the plane and the server script, but at this point, I'm just going to line them up, right? So after 8 seconds, I'm going to do that same for loop. So for underscore and v, do we have any v's in there? Nope, that's good. In pairs, we'll get our spawns and we need to turn them off. So v.Enabled equals, or turn these on. I'm sorry, we turned the plane off. We're going to turn these on, but this has to hit 8. Right now it's 0. Maybe we'll do this. Right after the loop, we'll do a count plus equals 1. Now when we die in the plane, if it's less than 8 seconds, we should go back to the plane. But remember, there's a 3-second delay for our respawning. Let's try it out. There we go. Well, let's die now. We should respawn in our environment. Oh, do you hear that sound? Just for a second? That's an error. That's an error we made in the last video, a small one. Let's see if we can respawn again. We may hear that plane sound for a second. Yeah. Boom. And then it cuts. What is that? All right. That's the one problem about doing videos back to back. You get an error, you can't just brush over it. Let's go to, where is our sound? In starter player, from the last video, we made that plain loc. Let's take a look at plain loc. Look at this. We check to see if the plane exists and the humanoid root part exists. If the distance is past the cutoff, we wait a second and then we stop. Ooh, let's do this. Control X to cut. Control V to paste. Now our respawn worked really, really well. I wasn't excited about that though because I found another error. But we fixed that error. Let's try it. We're in our plane. If we respawn right away, we may end up back in the plane. Not because it's a 3-second respawn, right? Boom. Or is it 5 seconds? We could check. And boom. Plane is off. So that's what it was. We were playing a second before we checked the distance. There goes our plane. That's cool. I think it's working well. Let's try it real quick before the plane disappears. Can we? And then let's look at our respawn time too. Yeah, we're still in the game and the planes disappeared, but I think our spawn locations are working really well. Let's turn this off and take a look at our respawn time. Let's scroll up to the player service. Where is that? Let's close our environment, close some of the stuff. Here it is, player service. And then respawn time is 3 seconds. I guess it just seemed really long because of the video. Now you can increase this time and that way you have a better buffer. You don't have to coordinate when you turn one spawn location off and the other set of spawn locations on. Like you can make that like 5 seconds. I'm not going to though because that'll slow down the video. All right, what else do we got to do? Teleportation service, right? We got to get our teleport service. We have to go back to the lobby after everything is done. So go to view, open up your asset manager right here. I hate when it does that. Boom. Places. Here's our lobby. Let's go ahead and right click. Copy ID to clipboard. And in the battle manager, let's bring that up. I'm going to close this. I'm going to make a variable called lobbyId. So local lobbyId and then paste. And you could pass this in as a number or a string. It'll be fine. I like the string because always afraid of a leading 0, which I'm sure they don't do in Roblox, but you could do number or string. And what else are we going to need? Oh, the teleport service, right? Scroll up a little bit. We'll do local TS and just make sure you don't have any other TSs up here. Sometimes I collide with my tween service and my teleport service. So TS game get service, and this is going to be teleport service. I think we're good. Go down to the bottom of the game loop after the rewards are given out, which we'll do in a following video. We're going to do a TS. How about teleport party async? There we go. I'm not going to bother wrapping it in a P call or anything like that. We get our lobby ID, where we're going. Remember, it doesn't have to be private now. We're going back to the lobby. And then we'll get our players. We have the player service defined above. And then get children. That's going to get all the players in the game. Boom, we go back to the lobby. All right, so there you can see it. That is right on the bottom of the game loop, if you missed it. Now, we can't test this in Roblox Studio. So I'm going to save this off, publish to Roblox. I'm going to grab the player. There's our cargo plane. Let's go to home. And we got to find our game, right? The Purge Battle. Oh, I made it public. Go ahead and open that thing up. View on Roblox. I'm going to pause it as soon as I start up because the player takes a little bit of time to start. Hit the play. Here we are. We're starting our battle. This is a lobby, right? This is a lobby. You come up. All the times are short, but you can adjust those. Oh, yeah. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I should have even shorted it more for the video. And then we're teleporting. Any second now. All right, we're on the map. Boom, we're in the plane. There's a little battle zone down there. Oh, I don't think we increased the time for our drop. I don't remember. Ah, that's pretty close. And then what happens if we die? Don't leave, but die. Boom. Cool, we're still in our battle area. We're not back on the plane. When we get to the end of this, let's bring up the F9. And now we can look at our server stuff. What is this? Run service, unbind rendered step. Oh, that's from a Roblox update. Believe you're okay with that. All right, there's our end. And then we should teleport back. Sweet. Look at that. We're back. And you can start the whole thing over again. And you might want to make your battle time in 5 minutes, right? 300 seconds. Or, you could reformat that time. I will see you in the next video. We'll keep building our battle. We need to get like weapons, maybe uniforms or something like that. I'm not going to do teams in this one. We might add it near the end once we get the initial battle all started out. But you can put comments, say, hey, I want to put this in there. I want to put that in there.